Hey, I'm Espen Kraft, and today I have this. This is my oldest issue of Keyboard Magazine. This is issue March 1982 with the Kraftwerk on the front cover. And here it is, Keyboard Magazine, March 1982. Solo by Jan Hammer. This is gonna be fun. Look at that Kraftwerk display there. Very nice. And a very cool cover. Okay, usually we've seen Korg ads on the first few pages, but not here. Here's the Roland VK09. And Roland promotes this as the most popular organ sounds of recent years put into one instrument. And you'll see a lot of organ ads in this issue because in 1982 organs were still going strong. And you can see this on the next page as well. Here we have an ad for the Yamaha Electone 6000. And I think this is an American version, correct me if I'm wrong, but is this the same as an E45 or maybe a D85 in Europe? Liking that upper manual on the D85, but I think a lot of the electronics inside here are similar to the E45 or D85. If there's any organ experts watching this, please comment in the comment section. Okay, so the content of this issue, remembering Johnny Kem, I'm not quite sure who that was at that time, but I think he was a famous theater organ player. And pay attention to the Keyboard Magazine advisory board again. Keith Emerson, Jan Hammer, Elton John, Rick Wakeman, etc. A lot of top names doing consulting for Keyboard Magazine at that time, I guess. Okay, let's move on. Letters to the editor, that's always fun to read. Check out what's coming next month. Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. That's pretty cool. That would be the April issue of 1982 then. Anyway, this letter caught my eye here. Here's a guy pretty upset and he says, "When are you guys going to stop thinking about all those jazz, new wave, soul, rock and fusion keyboardists? What about heavy metal?" And the writer is pretty upset that they don't have an interview with Don Airy, and he's threatening to cancel his subscription if they don't pay attention to these kinds of keyboardists. Well, Tapco Electro Voice ad there in black and white, a lightweight portable powered mixing system. And here's the synthesizer solo by Jan Hammer. I always liked that Keyboard Magazine focused on the player and then the gear. I see some criticism that there's not enough gear in Keyboard Magazine, but that's totally missing the point. I think Keyboard Magazine always focused on the player. That's why they have stuff like this in this issue and other issues. And it ends with, whatever format he plays in, Hammer will continue to challenge us with some of the most expressive lead synthesizer work anywhere. I love that ending, as Hammer went on to work on Miami Vice, of course, that was post this issue. Kevin TONEY, Blackbirds, I don't know much about him and what he did. These great players don't lend their names to products unless they really believe in them. They believe in Keyboard Magazine. That's cool. So what else? In Stock Keyboard Specialty Store, Sam Ash. Lots of cool stuff there. Sequential Circuits, Oberheim, Krumar, Korg Lambda. That's a cool one. And everything you probably need in a polyphonic sequencer for less than $650. And here's a Moog ad for the Rogue. Shift into overdrive. Twin oscillators with hot new overdrive circuits. That's one of the selling points, according to Moog themselves. Interfacing with other synths or computers, even an audio input for processing external signals. The Rogue. Cool. I can't say I remember a Steinway piano ad coming after this issue. Oh, is that Woody from Woody Piano Shack? Woody, if you're watching, I thought this guy was you actually for a split second there. But it's actually an ad for a keyboard magazine sweatshirt or jersey. Perfect for you, your friend, and the other keyboardists you know. It's $7.95 plus $2 per order for postage and handling. California residents add 52 cents sales tax per shirt. Could anyone explain to me why this was like that back then? Sales tax for California residents? Okay, so this is a Grail, the VOYETRA series. These are very, very expensive to get now, very rare, and I've never used one. I've heard one, and I have some samples of one, but I'd sure love to try one of these now. This was expensive, very expensive even back then, but check out New Order's The Perfect Kiss, and you can see a couple of these in the intro there. And here is an article feature about the theater organ by Johnny Kem, and apparently he passed away just prior to Keyboard Magazine releasing this feature, so I don't know much about this Johnny Kem, so if someone wants to chip in about the influence he had or what he did and why he was considered important at that time, please say so in the comments section. I'd love to know more about him without having to Google him up. Some Studio Master mixer there, and yeah. And what else? The Multivox drawbar organ, another organ ad, of course. This was 1982, and organs were still going strong, like I said. New jazz material from Lee Evans. Shure microphones, of course. And a computer system from Sound Chaser. Did anyone use that? I've seen ads of those many times. I never had the chance to try it, test it, or see it. And a great ad from Sequential Circuits with a poly sequencer. Never saw that in my life. I never saw the Remote Prophet either. Just in ads like this. The Prophet 5, of course. Well, that's well known. But I'd really like to check out those two up there, the poly sequencer and the Remote Prophet. The Wave of the Future, that's Yamaha electric pianos, CP35 and CP25. The Way It Will Be. And more colors. Custom 88, colorful electric, and the Hohner organ sounds. Now get those heavy organ sounds without the big heavy organ. That's cool. And here's the mothership of this issue, Kraftwerk. And what I appreciate most about this feature is that it doesn't focus on electronics or gear very much at all. It focuses more on the philosophy behind who they are and what they stand for and how they approach music in itself more than the gear. So reading through these first couple of pages and paragraphs, there's very little mentioning of gear. But they do say that they worked with drummers initially, but they couldn't make it work, so they just went electronic for all their rhythms. That's interesting. Kraftwerk means power station in German. I'm sure most of you know that. Ralph Hutter says that we call up computer companies and ask for prototypes or gadgets and things that haven't been marketed yet, so they might use it in their productions. So that's why they have so much custom-made stuff. Cool. And he continues, when we hear about them, we step in and try to get them. Before moving on, check out that Rhodes Chroma ad there. It's a very cool looking synth. Check out Florian Schneider and friend jamming on Pocket Calculator there, down to the left, and up to the right there, Wolfgang Flor with his custom built percussion unit. And check out that Yamaha ad to the right there. Here's your chance to be a Yamaha retailer, once in a lifetime opportunity. I think those Yamaha keyboards there look like a lot like the Rephase series that came in recent years. Well, the Kraftwerk guys, rounds this off by saying that the hippies were fugitives from the technology, and they, of course, want to move away from that. And that's a very nice ad for the Lin LM1 drum machine. Look at that. Okay. Let the experts answer your synthesizer questions. A keyboard exclusive. Lots of top dogs there. Barbara Nissman. I have no idea who she is, or was, or what she's doing here. A whole page of ads for tapes. That's cool. Cassettes were going strong in 1982. The Surge modular. Anyone use that or have that? Please say so in the comment section. I always wanted to try that out. Never got the chance. Joe Albany. Obsession with Excellence. Spyro Gyra. The bassist there. David Wooford. Play music better with feeling. Some smaller ads. And check out that ad to the right there. Does your synthesizer sound like your albums? Now it can, and this is a synthesizer course, a course of synthesis. And by taking this course, you'll be educated in all the different methods, types of synthesis. But what happened in 1983? Well, FM synthesis from Yamaha and the DX7. And that sort of took away the joy for anyone paying out for that synthesizer course the year before. We just focus on analog synthesis. Anyways, Basin, a quality synthesizer at an affordable price. And here we have some tech questions, some geeky stuff at the end here, some electronics, and Bob Moog always had a page or two at the end of Keyboard Magazine in those early 80s. More music theory and preparing audition tapes. Going to audition was important back then if you wanted to get in on the action. Home studio recording and tips and tricks in regards to that. Organ workshops, sheet music. Jim Aiken went through different records. And we have the keyboard reviews, and here's the review of the EMU emulator, the first one. And it was not cheap, I can tell you. It started on $6,395 for a 4-voice and $7,995 for an 8-voice. And the diskettes were about $10 each. Sampling in the beginning was expensive. More keyboard news, spec sheets, different kinds. There were actually much more black and white ads than I remember from browsing through this issue. Well, we're slowly coming to an end, and here's the first Korg ad, actually, I think that's in this issue. And the last conclusions for the EMU emulator, with all those price tags I told you about. And back to those Korg ads, I think they started getting in on those pages, first pages, not many years after this one, because from 84 or so, Korg always had those first couple of pages with their ads. And the Krumar DP50, 12 incredible piano voices. Well, that was Keyboard Magazine, March 1982. Thank you so much for watching. I had a lot of fun going through this issue with you. As always, I'm Espen Kraft and I am the 80s. So until next time, cheers.